That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but.
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. My name's Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. Today, we're once again talking about the biggest story in all of sports, and that's Shedeur Sanders falling all the way to day 3 of the NFL draft. Once a projected top 3 pick has slid all the way to day 3, which is insane. And obviously, a lot of times you hear people say politics with this type of stuff, but what exactly is politics? Like, what is it specifically? And I feel like I have a bit of insight that I could share, so I will be doing that. But I definitely just want to kind of go over everything here that I have pulled up. So let's do that one by one, shall we? Hold on, give me a second here. I'm gonna drag this out, make sure I'm good. Okay, bet. Let me share this. All right, bet. Okay,
So we finally get home and get settled. 2 nights before pro day, I get bad dreams. So that's how I know, like, the devil was trying to work on me. So then the first night I have horrible dreams, bad dreams. I wake up hard for me to go back to sleep, and I'm like, why all of a sudden I'm having a bad dream 2 days before pro day? Like, why? Out of all days, why now? You feel me? So that's like kind of how I understand, and even with dad, and anytime greatness and all that stuff is about to happen and all that stuff, then you see the devil try to like play his games, and try to distract your mind, get you off, throw you different curveballs in life and all this different type of stuff. So night before pro day, same thing, get another bad dream. But I was prepared because I just went through it the night before. Then I'm just thinking like, why? It just don't make sense. Like, how am I continuously getting bad dreams back to back? And life been the same every day. And one of the most important days of my life. Isn't that wild, bro?
It is.
I had no control, bro.
Yeah, like, you want to tell us what happened? You remember?
Yeah. All right. So I think the one before pro day was I was dropping back, and it just felt like the ground was like marble, and I got on cleats, so like I'm slipping, fall. You know what I mean? Like doing my drop back, slipping, and all that. Then, like, we just take a break. Kind of like how we took a break and we walked down to the other end for like red zone or anything. It was like similar to that. We took a break. We walked down. Then it was just like 2 people walked towards me like super, super, super fast. And like I couldn't like say nothing. I couldn't run. I couldn't do anything. You feel me? And they just attacked me. So like, when next day I get on the field, I grip that turf a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I make sure I got a good grip on it, because the night before my dreams was just so, it felt so real. It felt so real. I prayed, through those times, and I understood what was happening, because that would always happen to dad. Soon as something big's about happening, boom, that's when he had the blood clots and stuff, and that's when he got his toes taken and all that type of stuff. Like, as soon as something big about to happen, then some off happens. That's just how it been. Like, that's just how the trajectory of everything been. In most instances, when you're about to do something to change the world almost, and change perspectives, have influence on the world. And that's why I know my purpose is bigger than just me, and it's bigger than just my thoughts. It's just, I'm just in position to be able to, and the family's in position to be able to change some things.
Excuse me. Make sure you guys check out the two legendary podcasts of Shedeur Sanders on Overtime. Shout out to Overtime. They have a couple good podcasts on their network. Obviously, I shout out Flage's podcast all the time because a lot of the stuff that were quote unquote scoops or breaking news, she literally just said on our podcast like months in advance or weeks in advance, episodes in advance before it became quote unquote breaking news. So it's like I didn't have any inside information. Just listen to her podcast. So listen to these kids' podcasts or these young adults' podcasts and things of that sort. This caption right here from Change the Narrative with the end we on the clock hashtag. I feel like a bit dramatic, but yes. Yes. I do think that's interesting. That's interesting for sure. That Shedeur said that he was feeling that way before a lot of the big times and stuff like that. And he's 100% right. Like a lot of times when something big is about to happen, you do feel you know, you do have those kind of spiritual warfare sometimes and things of that sort. So that's 100% real. Okay. Now let me get to, I guess, just sharing my perspective on the matter and things that kind of like go on when people say politics. From the time I left Jackson in 2021, in October 2021, to go back to Atlanta, and my whole situation personally that went viral and stuff like that, that was July 2021 when everything kind of came to light of what was going on with me and Jackson State football, and more specifically with coach and the whole team and stuff like that. That was July 2021 when all that stuff went kind of blew up to the public. From the time that I left October 2021 to now, I've had probably about 5 to 10 people call / email / DM me, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm open to everything. Like anybody reaches out, like I'm open to it. Like we talk and stuff. And a lot of the people around the country, bro, were like really just searching for dirt, to be honest. Like it wasn't even, I feel like, really kind of in good journalistic integrity or whatever. It was all just like searching for dirt on like Coach Prime and Shedeur. Well, not even Shedeur. I ain't even gonna say that. But Coach Prime for sure, for sure, for sure. On Dion, a lot of the people, they was just looking for like bad stuff on Dion, for real, for real. And especially after the situation with the columnist over there in Denver happened, the Sean guy. A lot of people were just calling me and stuff like, "What was your experience? Like, was he a bad person? Was it that? Well, didn't this happen? And didn't this happen? And didn't this happen?" And like I said, bro, regardless of how anybody, what I'm saying, treats me or tries to portray me or anything like that, try to like throw dirt on my name, would you this and that. I ain't rooting for nobody's downfall. I'm not no hater. I'm not no blind hater. And I'm not rooting for any, like I said, I'm not rooting for anybody's downfall, especially another black man's down. Like that's just not my body, bro. Like that's just not my spirit. I can't move that way. Like morally, like that just goes against my morals. And like I was being honest with them. I was like, yes, this did happen. This is also part of it, kind of like on both sides where a lot of the tension was coming from and stuff like that. And I was just being straight up and honest. And because a lot of times it was just coming from like a place of attack, like, well, what didn't he do this to you? And didn't this happen? And didn't this happen? They're like, well, what's the person from Jackson State? This was a big outlet asking me this. It was like, who's a person from Jackson State that could that had a bad experience with him that I could reach out to? Do you have their number? Can you say? First of all, I'm not giving you nobody's number, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to like bash someone. Like, first of all, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I got your number from who? From Rashad. Then they're gonna be like, Rashad, why are you giving my number to the man? No, bro, I'm not doing that. I'll give you their social media, and you could DM them just the same way you DM me and reach out to me and things like that. But especially when it's something bad, bro. If it was something good, then yeah, like folks, you know what I'm saying, on a cold call, they'll be open to it. But like a cold call to like bad mouth somebody from like years ago is crazy, bro. Like I'm just not that big of a hater, dog. Like it's never been that deep to me, to be honest. And like I said, like what the things the tension and the moments that we had or whatever, the runs-ins we had in Jackson, bro, it was serious. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like I'm 25 at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a couple years out of college. It was my third job. It was the biggest market I ever been in. And then when coach came and stuff like that into the market, it immediately became the biggest gig of my life. Like just out of nowhere. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like I was kind of they hired me as like a backup or number two and stuff like that. And then I became all of a sudden like the primary guy for the entire paper and the entire company. You know what I'm saying? In a small market of Jackson, Mississippi, which at the time was the biggest market for me in my career. Uh so you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they tried it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, they tried it, and like I had plenty of reasons to be mad and hold grudges and stuff like that. But like holding grudges just isn't good, period. So like I eventually let that go. Time, obviously helped and stuff like that. Um and regardless, it's like I'm not rooting for no other man's downfall. At the end of the day, Dion got into coaching because he was coaching his sons from Pee Wee football, and then he just kept doing it, and then he ended up falling in love with it. And like the main thing, you know what I'm saying, that he cares more about this, about his sons getting drafted and stuff like that, and Shedeur getting drafted and seeing Shedeur thrive and stuff like that, than he did his own success. Like because is his kid. His kids gave him like bigger meaning in life and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted to, if it was all about just him and everything like that, his story possibly could have been like, as he said, over in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? When he was depressed and things of that sort. But those kids, bro, are the reason why he's holding on, and they mean like everything to him, bro. Like I don't think he love anything more than them kids, bro. I mean, some people might tell a joke and say himself, but yeah. Uh yeah. People, like I said, the entire point of that story is to say, just in my experience and my brief interaction and kind of, run-ins with them and stuff like that, which was 4 years ago, by the way. 5, 10 people from national outlets, people all around the country, all around America, you name it, have called, emailed, DM, texted, trying to get dirt, information, bad info about Deion Sanders, bro, and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, if this is these people's mindsets, they really trying to take it down Deion to this point, you know what I'm saying, like that. Just imagine how the owners in the front office people feeling. Like they probably trying to take bro down to keep it a bean. They probably trying to take bro down to keep it a bean. And the way to take him down, quote unquote, or whatever, is like quote unquote humble his sons or whatever the case might be. They don't want to invite that type of energy, you know what I'm saying, into the organization. Y'all remember with Tim Tebow and Kaepernick and stuff like that. When Tim Tebow was doing his whole thing, you know what I'm saying? Like people didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, sign Tim Tebow. Because if you sign Tim Tebow, then you're going to get a whole media herd around him every single day at practice, after practice. You're going to ask Belichick, when is Tebow going to play? What does packages look like for Tebow? Because the public's interest is all in Tim Tebow, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing, like I said, with Colin Kaepernick. Like when Colin Kaepernick was doing what he was doing, everybody kind of knew, especially like, he picked out the fro and stuff and went with the new look. People knew what was going on was pretty historic. And he had the historic look to it with the afro, going with the afro. And you kind of knew there was a good chance like that was going to be it for him. Like I was surprised that the 49ers ain't cut him that season or anything like that. They let him finish out the year. So with that being said, like the attention that was going to bring, and that was one of the reasons I think initially in those first couple years that teams didn't want to bring Colin Kaepernick in, because it's like, do you want to deal with all this media attention and herds and fans and this and that and all this noise? Do you want to deal with that for a quarterback who is probably, I think Cap at the time he left was an above average starting quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the same thing with Shedeur. It's like, okay, we can bring in Shedeur and he has high upside. And I think at worst, Shador is going to be an average quarterback, like a mid quarterback. He might end up being just a a backup who is like a what was it, Jacoby Brissett? You know what I'm saying? Where he's like kind of like always a backup, but it's like he starts when he needs to, and he's good enough to get the job done and keep a job in the NFL for like 14 years. I think that's Shedeur's floor. You know what I'm saying? Because he just has that football IQ, everything like that, and he can get better when he struggles. I've seen him struggle at different places or have, I don't even know if struggle's the right word, but have like rough patches and figure it out. And you know, when you talk about the attention and everything, like that's nothing to him. That's his whole life because he's Deion Sanders' son. Like that's just his whole life. Uh, it's tough, man. This is really tough. It's really tough to see, and it's crazy, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. It's crazy. 2 days in a row is crazy. Day 3 is insane, and it's at the point now where it's like where everybody said he's a backup quarterback now. So it's like, do teams even want to bring all that in, all that attention in for the for the backup quarterback? I said black quarterback, but yeah, man. I think you look kind of at the promotion right from Jackson State and Colorado. On one end, it was great for business. You bring in a lot of money and stuff like that. On the other end, I think people are looking at that as like that's what you get. Whoever gets Shedeur, whoever gets Shiloh, and that's insane, bro. Because it's just like, dang, you punishing him for what his dad was doing to make some money and things of that sort. And on the NFL side, like Deion really good with the NFL. Like, Roger Goodell's nephew was playing for Jackson State. Hold on, let me share that. I pulled that up in the tab. But Roger Goodell's nephew was playing for Jackson State. I believe the NFL like helped funded like Jackson State's renovated practice field, and you know, kind of Walmart did as well. You know. Uh oh. Uh oh. Hold on. Let me jeez Louise. Hold on. Let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see. A lot of sound, a lot of sound, a lot of sound, a lot of sound, a lot of sound. Oh, okay, okay. I was like, where's the sound coming from? But yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. If I can't pull it up, it might just be just move it on to the next thing. But yeah, Roger Goodell's nephew was playing for Jackson State. Here it is right here. Roger Goodell's nephew was playing for Jackson State, and he was at the game and everything like that. You see him hugging his nephew and stuff. Hey, so I say all this to say like Deion is in great standing and always has been in great standing with like the NFL front executives, namely like Roger Goodell and the people with the money, just for being Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying, one of their kind of most profitable faces ever. And so, but with the individual teams and team owners, like that's a whole kind of another, like, you know what I'm saying, government, 32 different governments and everything like that. And they're like, nah, we don't want that. So it's crazy, but that is the politics when people say politics, you know, just to give you guys a little more kind of insightful answer on that. And when people are like, when you hear the things of what when people say like people against Dion, this is a message against Dion, woo, woo, this and that, and you say no, it isn't, because Travis went number 2. I just told you straight up my experience of people trying to get dirt and bad news on Dion for the past 4 years of my life. So it's definitely like a lot of people out there that's trying to take down Dion. But yeah, Kalen Saunders, uh, he posted, he said, "Child, all right, y'all be easy. I'm finna hop on for it." After the Saints took Tyler Show. And then Cam Jordan said his own piece. He said, now what if we pull a 2 quarterback draft like the Commanders did with RG3 and Kirk Cousins? What if uh they're pretty much saying, man, they wanted Shedeur too. Like the same way the fan base in New Orleans is going crazy right now, bro. Nobody's happy. Like it's a couple comments in every like section that's like, oh yeah, Kellen got his guy. I trust Kellen. I'm going with Kellen and stuff like that. Everybody else in New Orleans is like, this is terrible. How could you do this? I'm no longer a fan. I feel like once you get to like, I'm done with this franchise, I'm done being a fan, I think that's when like the fandom goes to another level. Shout out to Rod Walker, my dog. Kellen Moore and Shedeur Sanders. he was right there in those conversations. Those are really tough decisions. Really good player. We think really highly of him. Ultimately, when you go through which you have to make a decision, we felt like Tyler was the right one for us. So it doesn't seem like that 2 quarterback draft is about to happen. Kellen Moore going against the grain and going against the fans early on. Interesting choice there, Kellen, but we'll see what happens. Warren Sapp says it's personal now. # wow. Yeah, they're saying it's personal now. So there's that. And then Stephen A., he brought up something that a source told him. He said, somebody just texted me this message, and they are absolutely correct. This is a bad look for the NFL. Feels like a Kaepernick level collusion. All the hard work, all the hard work the NFL league office officials office puts to eradicate these kinds of perceptions, only to turn around and watch the owners look like they're colluding, messing up everything. What has been done to Shedeur will outshine everything else in this draft. We'll never believe this is just about talent evaluation again. 100%. It's a lot of people that told me like, Shedeur is just not a good quarterback. He's just not that good. He's just an average guy. Bro, no. Like Shedeur did way more than enough to be drafted, bro. Especially in the first 4 rounds, especially when you look at the quarterbacks taken ahead of him. Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, all due respect to these guys. Tyler Show, Jackson Dart, and Jackson and Cam Ward. You know what I'm saying? Like, all due respect to those fellas, but when you look at those guys and Shedeur's resume in college, he definitely fit. He definitely fit like the qualifications to be an NFL quarterback. To get drafted in the first 3 rounds, 100%. And that's not even like his name. People say, "What about his name? What about his name?" Well, any other quarterback in college football who goes to 2 separate programs, 2 seasons each, correct, and flips the entire transfer portal to come to him, because a lot of those guys that he was getting, he was recruiting them. It wasn't just Dion. A lot of those guys, especially on the offensive side of the ball, offensive linemen and wide receivers, Shedeur was doing the recruiting for him. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? He's crazy, bro. So a guy who did the biggest recruiting flips in transfer portal, and a huge part in the biggest flip of Dejon Warren Nugget, who was committed to UGA and then flipped to Jackson State as a cornerback. And then Travis Hunter, obviously, as you guys know, committed to Florida State and then flipped to Jackson State on signing day. For a guy like that to do that and then turn up both of those programs from where they were in recent years, like he said, from the 2010s to where they are now, full stadiums, everything like that. You look at Jackson State, new uniforms, new this, new that. Like, and a lot of that stuff was obviously in the works, but like those guys, Shedeur and his dad, sped that up 10x it and stuff like that. And then to go to Colorado and do a lot of the same stuff that they was doing at Jackson State, of an empty stadium at a Power 4 program that nobody cared about, and to fill that up and make it must-watch TV for America, bro, with just the marketing and everything like that from Dion and Shedeur as well, with the branding of the watch, the Rolex, and to make the song Perfect Timing, and to have Lil Wayne and all these people on the sidelines at the Colorado football game. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff, bro. I don't know how you could look at that if his name was not Sanders and still be like, nah, he just getting the hype because of Sanders. Bro, you can't ignore all the other stuff that I just named. Like, if his name was different and he did all the stuff that he did in his college career, it's the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the exact same thing, in my opinion. I think one of the coolest things with this, and you know what I'm saying, like, on a brighter side, was discovering Shiloh's Twitch. Like, that was a pretty entertaining stream. I was watching it tonight, and he was giving the answers like in real time. So I don't know. I appreciate the transparency, everything like that, and it was an entertaining stream. So salute to Shiloh for that. Some people say the jewelry. So E. Dewey Smith, shout out to Pastor E. Dewey Smith. I've interviewed him before. I don't know if I uploaded that to the channel to say he's a friend of the channel, but I've interviewed him before. Nice dude. My little sister, fun fact, very fun fact, got baptized at E. Dewey Smith Church in Atlanta. W.E.W. Smith, little sister. Anyways, he said nobody wants to draft a quarterback who wears big chains and jewelry. They cannot win. And we were talking about the diamonds dancing and everything like that discussion. It was from Jalen Hurts himself with the Kango. Shouts out to the Kango. Shouts out to old head Jalen Hurts, things of that sort. So yeah, that's 25 minutes on the entire Shedeur Sanders thing, all the way up from the behind the scenes politics that have been going on and this agenda to really humble or like just distance himself from everything that comes with Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and the entire camp. So yeah, there's that. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, next topic. It's Caitlin Clark. Surprise, surprise. I didn't put it in the title because it was like, I want people being like, "What are you talking about Caitlin?" But Courtney Williams and her dad, I guess, have a podcast. First things first, dude. Covering Courtney, covering the Dream, like the couple seasons that Courtney was there, or the one season that she was there. Her dad was like the best part of it, bro, because her dad like followed, like, you know what I'm saying, the page on Twitter, and like to see his tweets like about every game and just things in general. He is like a national treasure, dog. He is so funny. He's so supportive of Courtney. I really appreciate how supportive he is and how funny he is, his humor. So this was a great idea, whosever idea it was. This looks like the same set. See, I catch on to certain things. This looks kind of very similar to the same set that Angel Reese uses, and then a couple other athletes' podcasts. And I'm starting to think is like this is all under a podcast network, a hidden podcast network that we don't know about. Just some things that I think about. Anyways, let's get into this clip.
They be talking about Caitlin Clark overrated. That girl ain't overrated. She bringing the heat.
No.
She bringing it, boy, because she crossing them up, boy, then pulling up. You know what I mean?
Caitlin Clark a problem, bro.
Yeah, she that.
I just think about my rookie year, and I think about how I came into the league, and I'm like, bro, it was such a crazy like transition for me to just understand what it's like to play at the pro level. And it's like this girl coming in as a rookie and going like she broke the record for assists. I don't think people really understand like how crazy that is to do as a rookie, your first year doing this. But that's another episode. Shout out to Caitlin, bro.
Once
She's
again,
going crazy. She only gonna get
talking
better.
about the free agency move around there. What about the new move? Then you just leave the draft, all the new blood. They be talking about Caitlin Clark overrated.
Yeah. So with that, bro, like I say, believe it or not, Caitlin Clark discussions and Shedeur Sanders, and of course, with Caitlin, you have to mention Angel Reese as well. I know some people say, no, you don't. I don't care. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. They're connected because it's like, I feel like a lot of the criticism with them and everything like that is rooted in like culture politics. Like, it's like whether it's support or like hate. Because the hate for Caitlin Clark is crazy. I know I talk about the support for Caitlin Clark is crazy and how Caitlin isn't the greatest player ever and isn't the so-and-so and isn't the da-da-da-da. Like, the hate for Caitlin Clark is insane too, bro. Like, because people would be like, oh, Caitlin Clark, I wouldn't even have her in my top 5 rookies of the Rookie of the Year race. Like, I'm like, are you serious, bro? Like, I understand. You might think Caitlin Clark gets more attention than ABC players should get, but don't act like Caitlin ain't that, bro. Caitlin is that. Now, with this Paige situation, Paige is in there now. Paige is in the league now, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like Paige has been better than Caitlin. Now, you have to keep it fair. Because when them jokers matched up post freshman season, after freshman year, right? I felt Caitlin got the best of Paige. And this was a couple years where Caitlin, Paige coming back from injuries. And it's looking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Paige is, you know what I'm saying? Disappearing in the big moments, disappearing in the big games. Of course, she put all that to rest and slammed that door and got that monkey off her back her senior season. And that's why it was such a big deal. But it was one of them things offensively. You know what I'm saying? Them big games, Paige just wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Paige. How she look against DePaul or how she look against St. John's or, you know what I'm saying? Seton Hall on a Wednesday night in December. Like, it didn't look the same. You know what I mean? And so you got to give Caitlin the last couple matchups. You got to give her the edge on the one-on-one. However, now it's a new ball game. You got Paige coming back now, and in the W, it's only 13 teams. So y'all jokers play each other 3-4 times in the season, and they expanded the season to what 44 games now. So you're gonna see Caitlin about 3-4 times, and we really gonna see head to head who the head honcho is when it comes to like the new age guards and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm saying you can say I think so and so's better, this or that, but like the hate for her, it goes over the top and it's just like over exaggerated things. And I feel like it's just as bad and it's just as cringe to me, in my opinion, as like a lot of the Caitlyn over the top support of like, Caitlin Clark is Michael Jordan. She's the best thing that basketball's ever seen. And I'm like, no. But she's also not like the worst player in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we need to get to a balance of like, she's really good. She's especially good for someone who was a rookie last season. And she's going to continue to be one of the best players and is currently see, now that's tricky. That's tricky to say she's the face because Asia Wilson is really running stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know Caitlin might be. This is a whole nother discussion. This is where you get in hot waters. Caitlin might be more famous than Asia Wilson. She might be more famous than Asia Wilson. But it's like, I don't know. When I think of the WNBA brand, and especially when they put a name to the face of the league, because they started, I don't know where that started, to be honest. Like, I remember De'Erica Hamby made a joke about it, or Asia Wilson made a joke about it with De'Erica Hamby when they were both on Vegas a couple of years ago about De'Erica being face of the league because she was talking about being Asia Wilson. And but I don't know, man. This face of the league conversation is just kind of weird. How it's like Asia wants to be like, I'm the face of the league, and like people embracing this stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of look, same way that it's politics with Shedeur and them and stuff like that. Of Shedeur not getting picked because of politics behind the scenes and people wanting to stop Deion Sanders' motion. You know what I'm saying? People's in power and stuff like that, and not wanting anything to do with Deion and wanted to distance himself from Deion and looking for a reason, digging for dirt to disassociate from Deion. It's the same way that a lot of this, like, all right, this might hurt me, but Evan, we got to keep it real. We're gonna keep it real. The same way a lot of the like South Carolina women's basketball propaganda like gets pushed out. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that be happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like a big reason to why a lot of how do I even want to attack this? Because we talking now, but a lot of the reason why you see a lot of South Carolina fans go so hard for stuff is because they might have, you know what I'm saying, people, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes really pushing and they trying to appease said people. I'll leave it at that for sure. I'll leave it at that. And that's what's really going on with that. So it's like you have to kind of see through that when you're trying to like deliver and say what's going on. You got to see through that and just tell it like it is, because it's a huge, and it's at least for the last, you know, this entire kind of thing. I felt like that started with Joel and Terrell coming on the channel. But yeah, in what was that, 2021? No, that was 2022. In 2022. So yeah, ever since then, it's been a huge push behind the scenes to push certain agendas and stuff like that of people affiliated with South Carolina. So yeah. That's a whole nother discussion though. Shout out to Lay. I don't have no thoughts on Lay. We've been talking about her going to LSU for the past 2 weeks. My thoughts remain the same. I know I just said I have no thoughts, but here's, I guess, 15, 30 seconds thoughts on that. With Lay going to LSU, it's just, I think it's an interesting decision because my whole thought process was she was leaving SC to go somewhere where she could compete and get some minutes and get her chance to shine, as kind of like the star that people say, like, you should be on Juju's level, you should be on Hannah Hidalgo's level because that's your class, like you should be on their level, everything like that. So I'm thinking she's gonna go to a situation where she could thrive like that, going to a place where Flage already run the team, and Michaela is your, you know what I'm saying? Michaela was like your rival, you know what I'm saying? To keep it a bean, like y'all was battling it out for freshman of the year. Everybody like, who's better, Michaela or Malaysia, excuse me? Who's the better player and stuff like that. So for you to kind of just join them, I think is a bit interesting and things of that sort. I know some South Carolina fans was like, oh, this is a message to South Carolina. What's going on? I don't know. We'll see. I think the more information will come out. Shout out to Skim Milky. Skim Milky was saying all of this stuff, and then Lay came up and said, "Oh, that's cap, Skim." And she said, "If you say it's cap, call my bluff." And hey, we see what happened. Skim Milky and Talia Goodman, both of them, they tried to pull their cards or whatever the past couple weeks, and they stood on business what they reporting. They both turned out to be true. So. Stop the gaslighting, bro. When you see something being reported and it's true, just be quiet. Just be quiet. Act like you don't see it. But don't acknowledge it and say, this ain't what's going on and this what's going on. Because I don't know. That's just annoying. And people are not going to believe nobody after that. Like, how people going to believe when stuff really happening and it's not going to happen if you just, you know what I'm saying? If you had a history of gaslighting and saying, no, that ain't what happening. That's not what's going on. All right, bro. Next topic. Coco Jones, brother. So Coco Jones, this is Charlamagne starting an interview with Coco Jones. I assume was this week in New York and stuff like that. The week of Coco releasing her latest album. Let me see the name of the album. Show her some love. When it comes to new music this week, I have not listened to any new music. I've listened to who I listened to. I listened to the Thug and Future song, like a little bit of that, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't listened to it because I'm working the draft. I have to say that I'm working the draft. I know someone was like, they were in my comments with the Candace Owens video, and they were like, you don't even respond to your people, and you only got 4 people in the comments and only got 4,000 subscribers. It's like, bro, like I'm working. I'm working like different hours than I usually would because of the draft. Like if the draft just comes on later. What's the name of the album, bro? What's the name of the album? Why Not More? Okay, it's Why Not More. So shout out to you know what I'm saying? Why Not More? Shout out to Duty Savage. Shout out to all my recently searched artists, Digital Nas, Donald Glover as always, DJ Drama, Caribou. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all caught Why Not More from Coco Jones. If you're here for a music review, I didn't listen to the album because I see the numbers going up and stuff for people in here. But yes, Charlamagne started off the interview at Breakfast Club for 2 minutes explaining that Def Jam did not send Breakfast Club the album into the morning of the interview, and then so they didn't have time to listen to the interview. What I wanted to say with this of interviews with artists, I've definitely been in the shoes of just like interviewing so many artists back to back that I possibly couldn't listen to everybody's full project. Or like I remember when I interviewed Gus Johnson, I didn't watch the his documentary that I was doing the interview for. He said, "Wait, Rashad, before he said, have you watched the documentary?" I said, "No." He said, "Okay, well, I have some time. Watch the documentary. It's an hour, and then come back on a Zoom link." I said, "Okay, bet." And the interview was just much better because, you know, we're talking about what he actually was there to talk about. When you go into an interview with someone and they're obviously on a promo run or they want to promote something and you didn't listen or pay attention to the thing that they're promoting, The interview is literally just like it opens the air for, just having a random conversation. A lot of times viral moments and great interviews come from those random conversations, 100%. But still, artists, what I've, kind of like seen just as a journalist, as a media person, it's like artists and athletes, whoever you're interviewing, the subject, they respect you more when you've done your research and you're speaking about the things that the whole interview is happening about. They just respect you more. Like if you're interviewing an athlete and you ask them about specific things in their game, like I remember Diamond Miller, that's one of my favorite interviews because like she was like complimenting me in the middle of the interview. I was like, I like your game because you do this and you do that and you really can use your length really well, or you can use like 2-3 steps to get to your spots on the floor and you scoop layup and you finish well around the basket. She's like, I really like this interview. Thank you. Like, how did you notice that? You notice those things. And it's like the same thing. You guys seen Manny Supreme on here a couple days ago. If you haven't, make sure you check that out. And then another interview with Manny Supreme out now on the channel. So with Manny is like, bro, you have the best interviews because like you actually be paying attention to this stuff. Like you actually be listening to the music and stuff, as opposed to just, yeah, man, you this, you that. And the artists respect you so much for that. They said Envy left the studio before this interview, and I think Envy definitely has a little PTSD from the entire Chloe situation, Chloe Bailey. So for those of you who don't know, years ago, DJ Envy went viral because Chloe Bailey was up at the Breakfast Club and they were having this entire conversation. And I forgot what Envy said, but Envy said something like, you don't do this, you don't do that. And then like Chloe just stopped him in the middle of the interview, was like, have you heard my entire album yet? He said, no, I haven't had the opportunity to. And she said, okay, bet. Well, I don't want you speaking about my music no more. And it went viral. It was a big thing. I definitely think, what I'm saying, like, I understand as a media personality when you have interviews every single day and interviews back to back to back, you're not going to be able to check out every single thing of the person that you're interviewing and stuff like that. You're not going to see every movie, every documentary, read every book, especially read every book, or watch or listen to every album before you interview the artist. But for as much as you can, make sure you do that and take notes, so you can relay a lot of that stuff to the artist and have an engaging conversation and have this type of respect for everybody, for sure. So those are my words on that subject matter. I'm speaking a lot about my job now. I don't really be speaking about stuff like that on her for real, but yeah, just one of those nights, I guess. Next thing, have your own. Have your own. This week, these last 2 days have shown us more than anything else to have your own. Before I got on here on this live, another live stream about sports was already live. It was Nightcap. It was Chad Ochocinco. It was Joe Johnson. ISO Joe, Yoga Joe. And it was Shannon Sharp, Mr. Shay himself, still speaking about the current events and the current happenings in sports like nothing is happening. Like he's not the biggest story right now in all of like media or the entertainment world and things of that sort. He puts out a statement that says, I'm taking a step away from ESPN to focus on my family and focus on proving my innocence and taking a mental break and stuff to get right. And I look forward to joining you all again in the NFL preseason. Now, if that was necessarily the case, why is he on Nightcap every single night speaking about the exact same topics that he be speaking about on First Take? It's because he ain't taking no leave. Spoiler alert, he ain't taking no leave. Them folks as an employee push that man out as soon as some bad press started coming his way because it's Mickey Mouse. It's a small world after all. That's just kind of my theory, just based off of context clues and what's going on. We look at this right here. Josina Anderson has been posting for the last few months, but especially this week with this NFL draft, hinting at her being upset at ESPN. I don't know what happened with her in ESPN. I don't know what happened with her in CBS. I don't know what happened with her in Showtime, as she said, the past networks I've been in and stuff like that. Because Josina's a great, great reporter, by the way. She had the scoop on Kellen Moore going to the Saints, and people are like, "Oh, I don't know about Josina." Like, it's crazy, right? And she was right, like she usually is. But anyways, here we go. At this point, Shedeur Sanders needs to learn to guard himself psychologically and lean on self-belief and faith. This is the next tier of life, enduring adversities out of one's control and the rude awakening of adulthood. While his pedigree may create concern and envy, his last name is still his power. Disappointment is not defeat. It is preparation for perseverance and the opportunity to prove the depth of character. So here's the first one, right? That was the first one that Josina said. She had another tweet that I noticed earlier this week, and it was no African American woman on the NFL draft coverage. Josina really feels a way about being pushed out, and like she say, it's a part of the adult experience. People gonna push you out. People gonna do this. People gonna count you out. You're gonna have hurdles. You're gonna have tough times and everything like that. Because of that, because of, like you say, Shannon Sharp, biggest person, one of the biggest people. Everybody saying, "Father side, da da da, like it's some fire." Everybody saying that because of Shannon Sharp. He has viral scenes, viral moments, everything. Oh, that ain't no problem with the little Mountain Dew and the goat thing. Like, Shannon has memes for days, right? He's probably one of the more viral people in sports media, next to Stephen A. Smith, the most viral guy in sports media, right? So it's like, even that person, if you have the wrong type of PR, you can get pushed out as an employee. And why does Shannon Sharp have his own media company and everything like that? So he can still do nightcap and keep that money coming in the midst of all this. Have your own. Josina Anderson, I seen her a lot and kind of interacted with her more than I ever have this past Super Bowl in New Orleans and stuff like that. She cool people, and she's determined, bro. She's determined. She's focused to really like stay like, yo, I'm still here. Like, you can't ignore me. She's got a team. Oh, she's doing the stuff with the, as you see, founder of London Pharaoh Productions. She's got a team. She's got a cameraman. She's got production, everything like that. It's real professional. She got lights, the camera and stuff, and she's really fighting to keep her face in kind of like in front of the NFL and stuff like that, in front of the players in the industry. And so to keep it to where she's still doing her thing. Chris Haynes is doing the same thing in the NBA of posting to the Chris Haynes show, going independent, bringing on guys like Trae Young and using his resources and sources to still report, still put up scoops about what's going on with Dame Lillard, what's going on with Trae Young and all that, because of his connections when he was at the big networks and stuff like that. You have to have your own thing in whatever you do. I'm speaking for media just because that's the business I'm in. But whatever your business you're in, you have to have your own thing. You have to have ownership. You have to have something, because like, as an employee, regardless of how high you get, especially with the state of the economic, whatever you want to say, the economic state of America right now. If you're in America, I'm in America. That's why I'm speaking from America. With the tariffs, with just overall kind of direction of the economy, with us giving Israel more money than we've ever given anybody else in the history, with us, you know what I'm saying, the Ukraine, Russia situation, with whatever's going on, bro. Foreign spending, war spending, tariffs to like prevent us from spending outside for the products that we get and stuff like that. Economy is not looking too hot, right? So, and as you guys know, economics is like this. It's up and down. It's up and down. And it looks like we're going down right now. And it's going to keep going down before it goes up eventually. So, especially in times like these, when the economy is bad, companies, corporations will look for any excuse to cut somebody to save some money, boy. To save some money, whatever the case might be. So, in the case of that, you have to protect yourself and have your own stuff. You have to own your own, because at some point, them folks gonna tell you, "Oh, thank you so much for your service. I'm sorry, we got, you know what I'm saying, the money. We looked at the third quarter numbers. They down from second quarter. We think we gotta, you know what I'm saying. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Best of luck to you. Get rid of your position, things of that sort." That's just what it is. And it's up to you and only you to make sure that you land on your feet, and you have to have something that can be constant and no one can take away from you. And that's building your own brand, having your own thing, and being your own boss. So it's like, yes, entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but at the same time, I think entrepreneurship is a good thing to have at least on the side. And we all are entrepreneurs, lending our services to corporations and companies, whatever you do. Like you say, whether you're a waiter, a waitress, a dishwasher, a chauffeur, someone who parks cars, everything, like valet, whatever the case might be, we are all entrepreneurs lending our services to companies as employees. So if you think like that and you move like that and you have your own thing, whatever it is on the side that you can always fall back on, I think that's a great, great pillow. Reach for the moon, so if you fall, you land on the clouds. Crazy guy to quote today, but hey, shout out to Ye. Graduation, if you know, you know. Okay, and then the last thing, a pretty silly topic, but I could get silly sometimes. Let's get silly. Rakia Jackson, man. She said, I got a doppelganger. Her boyfriend, alleged, it looks like, got drafted. James Pierce Jr. got drafted from Tennessee to the Atlanta Falcons, the linebacker and things of that sort. And with Rakia, they were dating publicly. They were pretty public, like the last couple of years or whatever, in her time being at Tennessee, and she was like supporting him publicly, like tweeting about him and stuff. But then what people don't like recognize with this, they're like, y'all should have been who she was dating that man. Was like, I think I want to say maybe I was just making up stuff in my head, but I think one time she was like, y'all don't have to worry about me being with nobody because I ain't with nobody. You ain't gonna see me pop up with nobody because I ain't with nobody. She said that. Like, she tweeted it. She tweeted something along the lines of like, I'm single. I'm not with nobody. You know what I'm saying? And she posted that. I remember that. It was a whole thing. I don't know if that was like she was in an argument with her man and she posted this like, oh, ain't no man say he claimed me. I don't know if it was one of those situations, but it happened. It was a long time ago. Or maybe, like I said, I'm just making it up, but I remember it. And so, yeah, it caught me off guard for a second. And but hey, salute to them, man. Hey, love wins. Hey, love in basketball and football. Next one, love in basketball and football. Miss Raven Johnson, Hollywood. I gotta get some props from those vocals, bro. Like, I gotta, come on now. Hold on. I'll try it again. Hold on. Hollywood. Closer. Crockpot Johnson. She's with him, with this dude. What's her name? What's his name? His name is Nick Imani Rory. Salute. Congratulations to Nick Imani Rory. She said Seattle got a good one. Salute to them for sure. They look nice together in their clothes. Go be great in your lavender. They got on the summer clothes, you know what I'm saying? The shorts with the white t-shirt. You see it. Color coordinated. They doing the little TikTok dances and stuff. The little what is this one? Oh, yeah. So congratulations to Nick. Congratulations to Raven. Once again, love wins. Love and basketball and football. And then the last one. See, these two, Raven Johnson and Rakia Jackson, I assume, just boyfriend, girlfriend, things of that sort of relationships. This one I'm going to keep very short because it's more serious than that. It's marriage. But people are talking about it. Skylar Diggins is now being listed as Skylar Diggins again on the training camp card. She quote tweeted it. Shout out to Bella Munson. And she says, Seattle PR confirms to the next that Skylar Diggins Smith would now like to be referred to as Skylar Diggins. And for those of you who don't know, just a little kind of background on it. With Skylar Diggins Smith, formerly Skylar Diggins Smith, people be like, Skylar Diggins, Skylar Diggins. She said, Skylar Diggins Smith, throw some respect on my husband's name. Like she always say that. So for her to outright say, I just want to be known as Skylar Diggins again, it's got people thinking, oh, interesting. Her name on Twitter is still Skylar Diggins hyphen Smith. But I didn't realize she hasn't been on Twitter in a year. I did not realize that. That isn't. I did not know that. Skylar Diggins ain't been on Twitter in a year. But Skylar she be like tweeting all the time. That's crazy. She really ain't been on Twitter in a year. That's the real story. I ain't gonna hold you. Cause she was because what was this about? This was about what? Caitlin Clark? Because this is Skylar said this because she said embarrassing. And then what she say? Yeah, because you and your whole culture is we know. Bro, you see how racist this stuff? This is a year ago. This is crazy looking back at this stuff. Who is you? People jumping over scores tables ain't embarrassing. Oh, this is about LSU. LSU and refs are at fault too. I never said anything towards a specific player. You never know a meaningful basket. You never made a meaningful basket. Sit this one out. Cook that. She ain't been on Twitter since then. Is she on Blue Sky? Or is she just like not on anything? I ain't gonna lie. That's the real story. I've stumbled upon that. Did y'all know Skylar Diggins Smith left Twitter last year? I did not know that. Is she on Blue? Hold on. Now I gotta see if she's on Blue Sky. Who's this Sky Dig for? Is this Skylar Diggins Smith? Oh, this is our old one. Never mind. That's our old account. Old account. Skylar Diggins, Blue Sky. Is she on Threads? No, I don't think she on Blue Sky. I don't think she on Blue Sky. Skylar Diggins Smith for the win. Shout out to Megan Hall on Blue Sky. Okay. I want to post, bro, what a run she had in Unrivaled too. I cannot believe they did not win the championship. They do that the whole spring just to not win the championship. Crazy. What am I looking up? Threads. Is she on Threads? Let me see. Nah. She not on Threads, bro. Yeah, she not on Threads. So she's just been quiet on social media. I haven't even noticed. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I have not noticed. Wow. I just know Holly can't wait to interview Skylar Diggins. And then Skylar Diggins Brown sounds right to me. His last name is Brown. We have Skylar Diggins here with another 30-point game. Or should we just say Skylar Diggins? Did the name drop have any effect on you or how you've been playing lately? It's crazy. This is Skylar Diggins Smith and Joe Jackson watching the kids work out for Seattle, making sure she get them in line because she get on them. For sure. Skylar Diggins. There's no more SDS abbreviations. We just making Skylar now. Guys, it can't be Skylar Diggins. It can be Skylar Diggins Skylar. Street saying Skylar Diggins is single. Confirmed by Munson Bella. Skylar Diggins it is. Dang, this is crazy. She was always just Skylar Diggins to me anyways. Okay, you still living in 2011. We feel like we back in 2011, man. It's crazy. That was an insane shot on a one-on-one. Sheesh. Sorry, De'Erica. Skylar Diggins Smith in the house. Correction. Skylar Diggins, no Smith. And he put the little okay, that's funny. People funny. Skylar Diggins. Niele Ivy and Skylar Diggins when she was still hooping in South Bend. Pretty gal uni. Skylar Diggins Smith. Right there, this March. All right. Anyways, so yeah, that happened. One dude, he made a funny joke. I'll pull that up, and that's it. Like I said, I'm not speaking about it. It's personal matters. Best of luck to them, the family. You know what I'm saying? Things of that sort. As they figure it out. Skylar against Skylar. Hey. Oh, this won't even. Yeah, this is her. This is her. He said Skylar Diggins. Hey. He said got blocked. So there's that. Everything and things of that sort. A little silly this to end the stream tonight, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Have a good day. Have a good night. Whenever you're watching this, I appreciate you all so much. Nobody else told you. I appreciate you. This is the road to 5K subs. If you're new to the channel, my name is Rashad Milligan.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Enjoy Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question. Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.